Now, like I was saying before, some of these biases we might also put under what we call belief perseverance biases. This is an interesting one because these can be both cognitive and emotional. The cognitive side of it is that we have beliefs, which are a cognitive element, right? And we make decisions based on those beliefs, and sometimes those beliefs are wrong. Yep, so we might make cognitive errors based on incorrect beliefs. Yep. But also the emotional side of it. We often do not like when our beliefs are challenged, because what's that mean? That means if our beliefs are wrong, well, that means all of our past decisions could be wrong. That doesn't feel good. There might be regret there, but there might be what we call cognitive dissonance there. That is, we don't like that feeling of making bad decisions. In particular, we don't like, therefore, reviewing or being critical of our beliefs. This, like I said before, this can lead to that confirmation bias I was saying before, where you don't want to read any new information that challenges your beliefs. This shows up in other areas as well of the investment decision-making pipeline in our analytical processes. What assumptions or heuristics do we rely upon? And are we willing to challenge those assumptions or heuristics? Yep. Also, I kind of mentioned before that in our decision-making, we also do have some forces that are external to us, external to our psychology necessarily. These more social biases. I said before, some investments can be more of a fad or a fashion, but also when we're making decisions, yes, what are those social forces that are perhaps leading to less rational decisions? Some of these can just be general social norms or cultural biases. Some of these can be when we're making decisions in groups such as groupthink or authority bias, where we more rely upon those with authority, or we don't question authority as much. But overall, yes, these social biases can lead us to make these irrational decisions. So as investors, we need to be on guard in regards to what our own behavioral biases might be. We need to review, we need to critique our decision-making processes. That might include, our assumptions, our beliefs. That might include the way in which we gather information. That might be in the way in which we feel about different investments, our perceptions and our preferences. Some of those are easy to mitigate, let's say, especially cognitive biases. These can be more readily addressed. Emotional biases, on the other hand, and to some extent social biases, they're more tricky, because these are things that fall outside of our modeling, let's say. We can't objectively say this is right or wrong a lot of the times. And it's hard to model things such as risks and loss and feelings and happiness. Therefore, it's difficult to point necessarily to offending biases, let's say. Therefore, it's difficult to necessarily moderate those. And generally speaking, yes, we as humans do find it difficult to amend our psychologies, our personalities, our emotions. But yes, that's the task at hand for investors, to understand how to reduce those behavioral biases so that we can make good, effective investment decisions.
Now, if you're a bit of a finance nerd like me, why don't you check out my Substack? There's a link in the description, and here you'll find additional concept notes, unedited videos, community chats, and much more. See you next time.